Hey y'all, today we're making some edible cookie dough. Alright, so first up we got chocolate chip. And what you're going to need is 1 stick of softened butter. I've already got that in my mixing bowl. And of course, you know, I didn't prepare, so I had to pop mine in the microwave for a second to soften it. But that's okay. About 20-30 seconds will get it right where you need it. So you're going to add in 1 stick of butter. Then I added in 1/4 cup of regular sugar, and I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, okay? And then we're going to just let this mix until your sugar and your butter is completely combined. We don't want crunchy cookie dough, not crunchy from the sugar. So just let that mix around. And if you don't have a stand mixer, you can definitely use a hand mixer for this. Now we're also, to make this edible, we're going to be heat treating our flour. Okay, so I did mine in the microwave, but you can also do it in the oven if you want. So we'll talk about that in a second. What I added in now is a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of milk. You can use whatever kind of milk you want. Any of it will work just fine, okay? I've just mixed that for a second. You don't really need to. It doesn't make a difference if you mix it in between. I don't know. You know, I'm kind of crazy sometimes, and I just... You know, I'm living on a wing and a prayer over here. But anyway, now we're going to add in our flour. We're adding in 1 1/3 cup of heat-treated all-purpose flour. And then I'm going to add in a little pinch of salt. And we're going to let this mix until it forms a dough, okay? So just let it mix. Don't give up on it. It will get there. So just let it go. And the way I heat-treated my flour, y'all, I put it in a bowl. Now, I made all 3 of these recipes at the same time or in the same day, so I treated all the flour at once. You're going to have to watch, because depending on how much flour you're using, it'll depend on how much time you need to put it in the microwave. So I put it all in a microwave safe bowl, and then I heated it for 30 seconds at a time. And for this amount of flour for the 3 recipes, it took me about 1.5 minutes. Now every 30 seconds I took it out and stirred it because I didn't want it to burn. But you could also do this in the oven at 300 degrees for about 10 minutes. It just needs to get to 160 degrees to make sure that we're not going to kill nobody, okay? So that's what you need to do to heat treat your flour. All right, now we all know something. Now it's going to be safe to eat. All right, now our dough is all nice and mixed up. And I do have a healthy cookie dough recipe that I posted last year, I think. I'll link that video for y'all. It's a keto-friendly recipe, actually, and it's made with almond flour. And you don't have to heat treat almond flour. Just another little tidbit. So anyway, I've got my dough ball here, and I'm going to add in some chocolate chips. And I add in, see how many I add in. I put a little in, and then I mix it up, and if I feel like I need to add some more, then I'll add some more. And that's just how I do mine. You can do however many you want to add to yours. If you want a whole lot more chocolate chips, you certainly can add them. You could do M&Ms or something in there too if you wanted to. These are so versatile, y'all. You could really do anything with these. But that is our chocolate chip. That's all there is to it. Next up, we're going to do some sugar cookie dough. So for this recipe, starting out again, we're going to add 1 stick of softened butter. I used a lot of butter on the day I did this. But again, I didn't take them out, so I popped it in the microwave for about 20-30 seconds. Just watch it. And then I added in 1/2 cup of sugar. And then we're going to let this mix up just like with the other one. We're going to let this mix up until our butter and sugar is completely combined, completely incorporated, okay? It'll get kind of fluffy, and you'll see it kind of change color a little bit. It'll get lighter. Then we're going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla and a little pinch of salt, okay? And then for this one, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of milk, and then we're going to add in 1 cup of the heat-treated all-purpose flour, okay? And y'all, I'll have all these measurements down in the description box for y'all as usual, okay? So you're going to let that mix up, and this was actually a little bit wet for me. If it's a little bit wet, add a tiny bit more flour. If it's a little bit dry, add a little bit more milk. It's not going to hurt it if you need to add a little of one or the other. You know, depending on the temperature of your kitchen and all, you know, the butter was a little warm and all that kind of stuff. So all that might factor in. So just do whatever to get it to the consistency you like. And that is completely it. That is all we have to do to the sugar cookie. This one was my favorite. Now, they're all delicious, but I could have just ate that straight out of that bowl. All right, so last but certainly not least, we've got brownie batter, okay? So we're going to start out again, 1 stick softened butter, okay? And then we're going to add to our clump of butter there, we're going to add in 1/3 cup of plain white sugar. And then we're going to add in the paddle attachment so we can mix this sugar and butter up. I don't know what I thought I was fixing to tell y'all right then. But you just mix this the same way. All 3 of these start the same way, different measurements and maybe different sugars, but basically the same thing. Okay, for this one, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. All I had was some sugar-free grape value, so that's what I used. Turned out fine, doesn't matter, use whatever you have, okay? You need 2 tablespoons. Add that in there. Then, of course, I mixed it up again, like there wasn't any reason for it, so you don't have to do that, it's all gonna mix in a minute. Then I added in 2/3 cup of our heat-treated flour. And then you're going to add in here 1/3 cup of like the unsweetened cocoa powder right there. Little old great value baking cocoa. And I will say, I'm not the biggest chocolate fan. I know that's controversial, but I've never been a huge chocolate fan. So I think the next time, look, and slow your mixer down. I had stuff flying everywhere. But, that's par for the course over here. But just mix it until it forms a dough. Now, it was a little chocolatey for me just because I'm not a real big chocolate fan. So I think I might back off on the cocoa powder next time just a little bit. But regardless, it is delicious. It's very chocolatey. So if you love chocolate, this is going to be right up your alley, okay? So I had a little bit of flour still kind of loose, but I figured I could just mix that in with my little handy-dandy spatula right there. So that's all I'm doing is just kind of scraping what was left on the sides. So you can leave it like this, but what I decided to do was add a little bit of chocolate chips, and it was already pretty chocolatey, so I didn't want to add a lot of the milk chocolate chips. But I added in some white chocolate chips because I thought that would be really good and kind of change the flavor just a little bit. But you could do all white chocolate, you can do all milk chocolate, or you don't have to add any chips in at all. Next time I make this, I think I might actually also add in some pecans because I love a pecan in my brownies. You know what I'm saying? So just like the chocolate chip one, if you mix it up and you feel like you need some more chips, add you some more in there. Look, this is your cookie dough and you can cook it. You can make it however you want to. Whatever you like, again, chunk it over in there. If you want to put some walnuts in there, whatever, okay? And then you can just stick this in the refrigerator and it'll last, I don't know, a week or 2 in the refrigerator. I mean, it's not going to last that long. You're going to eat it sooner than that. But look at that, y'all. Brownie batter, cookie dough. But there's so many variations of this. You could do peanut butter. You could do funfetti. So many different things you can do. But I just picked these, and y'all, they were all winners. Super delicious. So let me know if you've ever made these before, or are you even a cookie dough fan? Let me know down in the comments. But y'all got to try these. All right, that is all I've got for y'all today, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.